to the Risk Factor podcast powered by the Singapore College of Insurance, where we decode the future of risk, innovation, and everything happening in insurance. I'm your host, Shalini, and today we're diving into a really interesting topic where we cover care, coverage, and well-being. The title of the podcast today is The Future of Health Insurance, Innovations for a Healthier World. Now, joining me, we have two brilliant minds. I think going by just the conversation that we had outside before we came in, I think, we're going to have a really interesting conversation. I would say a engaging and interesting conversation. So two brilliant minds shaping the future of health insurance. We have Mr. Abhishek Rathi, who has over 2 decades of experience in insurance, managing P&L strategy and digital transformation at scale. He's a big innovation man, and he's a leading voice in insurance innovation. And joining Abhishek is Mr. Manu Tandon, Chief Health Officer of HSBC Life, also our faculty for health insurance, trailblazer in healthcare technology and risk management. Welcome, Abhishek and Manu, to the Risk Factor. It's wonderful to have you all.
Thank you.
All right, you okay?
Absolutely.
So we're going to kick off, okay? Kick off with just setting the stage, right? Setting the stage in terms of the future of health. I'll kick off with you just to give us like a big picture, all right? So you've been driving innovation across healthcare systems. How do you see technology, whether it's AI, wearables, telemedicine? How is it reshaping how insurers support healthier lifestyles rather than just being that bill payer? How do you see that happening?
Yeah, no, first of all, thank you, Shalini, for having us here. And it's great to be together with both of you.
Okay.
It's great. And to be honest, I'm a firm believer that insurance should be moving on from a payer to partnering to really influencing the risk of the insured members. That's really very important. And I think we are moving from a system where we are moving from a bill payer to really ensuring that we are rewarding healthy behaviors. That's something that is really very important. And to be honest, technology is empowering us for us to ensure that we are driving that behavior. I mean, if you look at the World Economic Forum, chronic disease account for 72% of the deaths. And to be honest, 80% can be prevented. And that's important. And if you look at some of, the wearable devices that everybody has been wearing, actively 1.2 billion wearable devices are being used. So that's almost 1 in 7 total number of people on earth are actually using that.
I didn't know that many people
Absolutely.
wear.
And it's not far away that AI will be able to manage your stress levels. They'll be able to see your nutrition, your sleep patterns, nudge you a little bit. If you are not well, make sure that telemedicine with the nutritionist has been aligned, and that's coming. It's not future, it's really in few months time that it's coming, the pace at which technology is moving. So we are going at a much fast pace that we could ever evolve now. So widespread genomic sequencing, continuous biomarker monitoring, and wearables predictive analytics is really helping all to make sure that diseases can be detected much earlier than the systems appear. And preventative medicine is making sure that with that right approach, the health outcomes can be a lot better. And that's something I feel definitely innovation will drive a far ahead progress than we feel.
Yeah, and that's really fascinating, Manu, because then health insurance is not that safety net, right? But
Yes.
really that wellness partner that's walking with you
Absolutely.
through that journey, right? And
You're
that's what we
absolute-
want to be, right?
Absolutely. And insurers play a very, very important part in that progress. And we need to make sure that we are progressing just from bill payer, as you rightly said, to make sure we are rewarding the insured members and being healthy.
Yeah.
As
So
we
that they don't
progress.
think of us only when the health scare happens, right?
Yes.
Or something goes wrong. Yes. Abhishek, coming to you. I know, so we're trying to understand, right? So now everything that Manu talked about sounds like science fiction, sounds like, but it's not, it's at the doorstep already. How are customers ready for this? Because it does seem kind of like intrusive. Do I want my health insurer to know, what I eat, what I do, how much I sleep, or things like that, right? So how do you think customers are preparing for this, or how we are preparing them, or how things are changing? How do you see that?
So I'm a sample of one, but I agree with Manu. And I also agree with what I read about what customers want to do with the data that they are collecting. About 6 months ago, I actually started wearing an Apple Watch to track my
Only
sleep.
6 months ago?
To track my sleep. So while
Oh.
sleeping.
Okay.
So I've been wearing it for about 7-8 years, but
Has
for
it
the
helped?
last 6 months, I am actually tracking. And what I intend to do is funny, but what I intend to do is actually utilize my data put it into a GPT,
Mhm.
and then make that GPT a personal health coach, right?
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see where we get with that.
So it's an
But
experiment that you will come back and tell us about.
absolutely, absolutely. And
Okay.
I am hoping that the GPT and the assistant is actually able to tell me about all those preventative signs that Manu was speaking about, right? Because that's the power that we have now with the data, and then how we actually utilize that data to uncover things which we may not be knowing because we are not equipped enough to actually uncover those. But to answer your point about whether customers are ready, right? So let me quote some numbers from Bain and Company. So this was a research done in 2024, Frontline of Healthcare report, where wellness came up as a number one priority for consumers. So
Okay.
validation number one. Validation number two, consumers are looking at effective, data-driven, science-backed health and wellness solutions. Validation number three is that 85% of the consumers are interested in healthcare maintenance and lifestyle changes. And a whooping 91% of the consumers prefer having a one-stop shop to manage their care, and majority expect insurance providers
Okay.
to play an active role in the healthcare journey. And if you look at a broader lens, you look at the entire healthcare ecosystem, you will be surprised that insurers are the only players in the ecosystem who actually make money when the customers are healthy. Think about it.
But people don't realize that, right? Because we think insurers make money if you fall sick, right?
Look, if you take the hospitals, you take the pharmacy chains, you take the doctors, right? And you take diagnostic providers. Insurers actually want you to be healthy because they are underwriting a risk of something happening to you, and they really pray in
you
addition
don't
to
fall
providing you absolutely, in addition to providing you that financial cushion and that emotional peace of mind, they're actually now working towards improving the health outcomes and providing preventative well-being. So I would say that that's the role the insurers would play. Having said that, the insurers have been playing a role of providing that protection, right? Taking care of the purchase part. I see a big opportunity, and many insurers have already started to do that, is to support the customers in their wellness continuum. And what do I mean by that? Is it starts from awareness, diagnostics, prevention, access to care, certainly the protection products that they come up with, and behavior change, right? So it's no longer only about providing the products alone. It's about actually helping the customers navigate the continuum.
Very good. I mean, that part that, where you talk about, where insurers are really invested in you being healthy, I don't think we talk about it enough, right? Because that's not the perception. We got to figure out how to make that more clearer that we want you to be healthy, that whatever it is, right? So I think that doesn't come out very strongly.
You're right. And it doesn't come across strongly because the focus is more on what you will get if something were to happen.
Correct.
Right?
The safety net part.
Exactly. Whereas the focus should be on peace of mind. Right? That, hey, if nothing were to happen to you, fantastic. This is how you actually make tangible benefits. And personally, I have seen over the last 2 decades insurers moving away from what might happen to you if you are not there to how we can support you when you're there. Right? The tangible benefits are a shift that we see.
So the narrative is changing.
Yes.
That's a good narrative. Okay, now let's move to the forces that are reshaping the game, right? So now customers' expectation, economics, and the data have all moved together. Now, from Manu, I'll come to you. What's from your vantage points, right? What do you think is reshaping health insurance right now? What is it that's most reshaping? So what you are seeing in the crossroads of money and health, people are more wealthier, people are also living longer. How do cost of living pressures, chronic illnesses that we're seeing now are coming up? How is that making financial and health resilience really inseparable? What do you see happening?
Absolutely. That's a fair question. And to be honest, more than ever, health and wealth is becoming inseparable. Absolutely. And it's almost like, two wheels of a bicycle. And we always used to say that, health is the most important wealth, to be honest. And it is an old saying. But people have started to realize that. And everybody understands, no matter how much detailed wealth planning you do, a single health chronic incident can really wipe away if the planning is not well done. So everybody is now understanding the needs of a composite planning and understanding. It doesn't require to be a separate health or wealth. It's now a lot more composite
Okay.
and a lot more aligned health and wealth proposition. And just to give you an example, I mean, here at HSBC, to be honest, health is one of the strongest pillar and one of the key pillars that we offer to our premier bank customers, just integrating the health and the wealth proposition. And that plays a very important part. And another very significant consideration is longevity. And we all know longevity, it's great to live long, but it's also more important to make sure that we are living healthy. And any impact on increase of chronic illness, the cost of chronic illness can really deplete. And your planning of longevity can really derail if it's not managed well. So as insurers, I genuinely feel we have a very important role to play to not only make sure that we are bringing the two together, but also to make sure that ensured peace of mind is there.
Yep.
And citizens and members are at peace that while longevity is there, they are doing the necessary, and health is and wealth are combined to make sure that a holistic well-being is offered. So that plays a very, very important role.
Very good. I think during pandemic, I think we had partners who were looking at this, and they talked about, if you look at the whole world where population are,
Yeah,
and due to the pandemic, a lot of people fell sick,
absolutely.
and those who were on the borderline of the poverty line, on the poverty line, dropped below simply because they fell sick. And that
Absolutely.
depletes, exactly to your point, it depletes savings. And then you got to think, right? You've already got, you're under pressure. How do I roof, food, everything. And then suddenly you fall sick. Maybe you can't work. That affects your ability to put food on the table. Everything gets impacted, right?
You are absolutely correct. And now, with the new trend of mini retirement coming in, people are not waiting for retirement at age 60, 65.
Correct.
There are mini retirements where members are, working, and then they want to take a break. And you need to make sure, and you can't rely just with your employer to give you a basic cover. You need to make sure you are having a sufficient cover
Correct.
yourselves to be able to make sure that you are, strengthening your benefits so that you are able to do that.
And that's absolutely right? Because you worry, if I wait till 65, okay, to take that holiday, what if I'm not healthy at 65, right?
Absolutely.
So you better start living now, living healthier, right? So, okay, very good. Okay, before I know Abhishek is looking at me. Why do I have nothing for Abhishek? I have a question for you, Abhishek. Okay, now I know you're passionate. I mean, you speak with such passion about this, right? About the need for holistic well-being and beyond just that financial support. Now, tell us more about what you think in that area.
Yeah, holistic well-being is something I'm very passionate about. Holistic well-being, and I've been researching on this topic for about a couple of quarters. I started with what World Health Organization has to say, and according to them, it's physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease, right? So your example of the bike goes away, right? There are 3 tires to the bike. Possible? I don't know.
What 3 tires to the bike?
No,
That's a tricycle.
It's a tricycle. I'll come to that. I'll probably change the definition of the analogy that we should start looking at holistic well-being to, right? So it's a great place for World Health Organization to say that it's not only the physical well-being, but social and mental well-being are important. But the definition is actually missing out many interlinkages, right? And this is where I believe that all of us have to actually start looking at driving a Formula One car, right? Imagine your life and you're living a Formula One car, right? You have 4 tires. So those are 4 dimensions. You yourself are the 5th dimension, which is the spiritual well-being that I talk about. And then you have what you have around you is a team which actually supports, and the environment, which is a digital well-being. Now, what are the 4 tires, right? So you start with physical well-being, financial well-being, social well-being, and mental well-being, right? With spiritual well-being, the person himself or herself who's actually driving the car, and the digital well-being. So these are my 6 dimensions. And frankly, everybody wants to drive that Formula One car to success, right? Now, how do you actually take this into account and why it is important in the first place? So the research is actually very, very clear. As you were talking about it, Manu, financial well-being spills over health. Right? A recent systematic review found a significant association between financial stress and major cardiac outcomes. Right? So it's correlation, not causation, but still the direction is very important for us to consider, right? Mental well-being, on the other hand, is equally important. Mental disorders account for a larger share of global disability and reducing the functioning across domains. Think about population burdens, think about large correlation with other outcomes, right? So it's a great place for us to start with supporting the financial well-being, and the opportunity here is therefore to expand our vision to providing for that, holistic well-being. And I think insurers are playing a part. Now, what are the dimensions of these financial well-being, right? What constitutes these? So one tier is physical well-being. It includes sleep, nourishment, physical activities that power your energy and health. Mental well-being is self-awareness, clarity, mood, the capacity to focus, and enjoyment, of course. Financial well-being, understanding how money works, financial stability, buffers, control over the choices that you make on your money. Social well-being is a close ties, social support, belonging, and ability to have a podcast like today. Spiritual well-being, extremely important, often forgotten. The lived values and beliefs, the meaning, purpose, and direction. And last but not the least, which is actually making a very important mark, is digital well-being, which is devices around us, right? Our browsing behavior, the habits, and most importantly, also the learning ability, right? So it's important for us to get onto the Formula One car and drive to success rather than actually crashing a car when we are taking a speed turn.
Very good. Well, that was Manu. Anything to chime in on what Abhishek just talked about?
No, absolutely. To be honest, I absolutely agree. And, I always believe that the holistic well-being plays a really very important aspect. And you talked about, the mental and the social and the physical. And to be honest, over the years, physical well-being was only categorized as the most biggest tire. And I always believe that if a tire or if a car is running at a speed, you need to make sure all the four tires are of the same size, same quality, same strength. If one of the tires is much bigger, you'll not be able to drive that fast.
Absolutely.
So it is absolutely important that literally everything is running, and that's why holistic well-being is very important.
So between the two of you all, which of that tire you think, okay, I know you're saying that it should be all of equal size.
Yeah.
Is that
No,
correct?
no,
There should be some that are more important than the rest.
Not really.
No?
Not really,
Okay.
right? I knew that question is going to come. And, people are often going to talk about balance, but it's not the balance. It's the harmony.
I
Right?
agree.
It's the harmony of these 6 interlinkaged well-being that is important for that individual to actually have a fulfilling life. And Manu, you spoke about longevity, right?
Yeah.
It's actually a healthy long span that we have to talk about. So we have to move away from lifespan to a health span.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So the life that all of us have, how can we enrich ourselves and people around us to the best of our capabilities and abilities and health, right? Rather than being on the bed for the last 10 years of
Oh
our
my
life,
God.
right? So,
That's a nightmare.
so it's harmony, therefore.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the harmony, how you find that harmony changes, right? That what was important maybe in your 20s become less important in your 30s, and but it's always about how you find that harmony. But it doesn't mean the percentage of what's important. Maybe financial well-being is important in your 20s, maybe coming into 30s, but when you hit your 30s, you're thinking more about health. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm right on the right track, but because you're giving me this look, so I'm going to ask you.
You'll be surprised, Shalini, that these interlinkages actually happen on a daily basis.
Okay.
In fact, on an hourly basis, right?
Oh, okay.
And to prove a point, imagine a situation where you had a very good exercise routine, right? For 30 minutes, you actually had a great run, or probably, did your weightlifting, or maybe had a swim, right? What does it do to your mental mood,
Okay.
right? In fact, that's how I operate. So I work 3 time zones. So after my second time zone, which is EMEA, I would focus on probably a little bit of a time, 45 minutes, 60 minutes to do my workouts. And then that carries me till about 10:30, 11 in the night, because I have that
Getting
energy.
ready for
I have
US.
that rigor.
Okay.
Exactly. I have that rigor. So what is important for us to realize is that how these tires, right? And we as spiritual well-being, how can we manage this harmony, basically?
Yeah.
All right. Very interesting. Okay. So health, no longer a bolt-on or an afterthought, but really to be viewed holistically. So now let's look at innovation on the ground. Manu, what do you see is driving innovation in health insurance today? And whether is it new technologies, startups, customer expectations? What is it?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I mean, the space at which we are innovating is outstanding, and really, I feel as an individual, whether it's an industry or a standalone silo, it is very, very difficult. Partnership plays a very, very important part in how we are delivering those innovation, and whether it's the value to the customers or whether it's the deliveries that we are doing. And I feel the collaboration, whether it's with the tech startups or whether it's with one of those healthcare providers, they play a very, very important part in making sure that we are bringing in fresh ideas. They are bringing in the encouragement of experimentation, thinking out of the box, which maybe on a standalone basis of insurance they might not be thinking. But because I'm collaborating and I'm making sure that I'm doing partnerships, that gives in the fresh ideas. Partnering with the tech companies, the wearables, gives the ideas and gives the access to the health insurance company of basically making sure that we are understanding the risks, we are anticipating the risks, we are understanding the risks a lot better, so that then we are able to manage that risk a lot better. And we all know about rising healthcare costs. This is something which is really close to everybody's heart. Rising healthcare cost and chronic condition, that is really pushing hard the insurers to find out innovative ways in coming out with propositions to manage that and sustain it for a much longer years.
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer that in the whole ecosystem, partnerships and ensuring that we are partnering with the best of, whether it's technology, whether it's health tech partners, is the whole end-to-end value chain that we need to weave in together to be able to make sure that we are offering the best to the customers, and of course making it a lot more sustainable.
Very good. So, to Manu's point about innovation and why we innovate now, as insurers chase innovation, do you see a cultural shift happening in the industry? Do you see more openness or collaboration, as Manu talks about? Maybe even like startups coming in. I think those were the days when we used to talk about, is our startups going to eat up insurers? But and now it's different, right? I think there's space for everyone. Right. So how do you see this world or this shift?
Definitely, Shalini. We need the ecosystem to function as a flywheel and work on two very important aspects. First, cover a wider section of population via preventative well-being and go deeper in supporting the medical fraternity in identifying cures. Treat patients with precision, as you were talking about, Manu, and reduce the cost of providing healthcare. Majority of the startups have actually entered this preventative well-being space, largely thanks to the advent of new age technologies, and their ability to scale beyond geography and cultural boundaries is fantastic, right? So I think there's a lot of awareness that the insurers could actually help them with, because customers don't know that these technologies actually exist, right? That's for the insurers to actually help them. More importantly, also, when customers actually look at some of these preventative well-being, it's a matter of behavior change. So how can insurers help the customers make this behavior change and accept it, right? The second area is about new age technologies with customer consent, helping to augment the intelligence of the medical practitioner. And I have a startup that I met. They serve one of the key markets in Asia, and they do an amazing aspect. When a customer is actually been diagnosed with cancer, right, and you know that cancer is like a taboo word, one who faces cancer can actually understand what they go around it. So they take the customer consent, take the data of their medical records of the last 4-5 years with their consent, and they feed it to their technology. And they're also able to have a panel of oncologists actually look at their data, right? Now, the data is available. They're looking at it from a different lens. They are comparing with what has happened in rest of the world. Are there similar cases? And what they're doing with this is fantastic. They're actually giving that analysis and intelligence to the medical practitioner on the ground. So they're helping the oncologist actually treat that patient with a sample case of one, frankly, right? So that's the depth in which medical precision is going into with the help of new age tech. And I think startups are playing a very important role, and they'll continue to play an important role.
I'm just curious, on that particular case, would they be able to even go back, as they're studying the past history, to go back, like, where could they have picked it up? Would that even have been possible, you think, so they got consent for, say, last 5 years, 10 years of data. Would that be something doable, you think?
Possible. Having said that, at that point in time, if you think about it, what's important? Cancer has been diagnosed. So it's important not to look at why cancer happened. It's important to actually start looking at what can be done basis the medical history of the particular patient, right? And I think the key aspect in this is that we need the demand to be managed at a scale, right? And that demand to be managed at scale will only happen when you reduce the dependence from tier 1 cities, countries, and moving into tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. You need that democratization of this medical facilities, so to say. Therefore, more people will be able to actually benefit from these health outcomes. And before you ask me this question, Shalini, there is an urgent need why this is important, why this partnership and collaboration and this flywheel of the ecosystem is important, is because according to McKinsey, the healthcare worker shortage, partly exacerbated by the burnout-driven attrition, largely because of the pandemic, is costing the global economy $1.1 trillion already, right? With each passing year, we actually increase that burden. So it's important that the ecosystem comes together and, makes this flywheel work.
So that's the human side of health that we're looking at, right? So as the demand on health or the healthcare sector increases, what it does to the workers or the professionals in the industry. So now talking about people, right? With all this innovation, now the nature of work in insurance is transforming as well. So maybe I'll start Abhishek to finish up based on his train of thought just now. So how do you think young professionals should, or even mid-career experts, people coming in mid-career, how should they reinvent their skills, right? It's a very different world that we're operating in now. How should they level up, scale up, reskill, upskill, whichever, to be able to really thrive in this digital health era? What do you think?
I would take this from two perspectives. One is all of us, as participants and contributors to the healthcare ecosystem, as well as what the companies can do. So I would say three key trends. One is companies can look for hiring for attitude, which they have always done, and also hiring for skill elasticity. Right? What do I mean by that is the learning aptitude of the individuals who are entering in this space, because new skills will be required to actually be successful, right? Every year, every quarter. So the industry can focus on CARES, CARES. What does it stand for? Curiosity and critical thinking. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Look, I've had a fascination for creating mnemonics which actually simply explain, right, what the most important thing around it, and it makes it easy for people to remember. CARES actually cares, right?
Okay.
Because it cares for the skills which are important for the future. So C stands for curiosity and critical thinking. A stands for agility and analytical leadership. Resilience and flexibility, right? Not giving up at all. Empathy and active listening. And last but not the least is systems thinking, which is where you actually look at the first principle approach and reimagining. And reimagining is what the employees of tomorrow will have to do in terms of actually improving the workspace. So that's trend number one. Trend number two, I see the portfolio career economy growing. Can we as an industry be open about actually embracing those individuals who are in their portfolio careers? They may not be wanting to be associated with one company, right? They may want to be actually trying 2 or 3. And in fact, there is great trend already in the US. 28% of the skilled knowledge workers now operate as freelancers or independent professionals, and they contribute $1.5 trillion to the economy. So it's a matter of Asia Pacific deciding that, yes, we want to be embracing the freelance workers around it. That's number two. Number three, is emphasis on augmentation rather than automation, the example that I gave earlier. And then how can we leverage new age technologies to actually make the workers better, right? So yes, so you got your, so industry needs to care.
Okay. Okay. Cares. I like that whole abbreviation and acronym and the way in which for us to remember that. Very good. Manu, okay. I think Abhishek talked about healthcare workers and the burnout, and maybe they're looking out. And we are now very much, aligned in terms of how do we get people healthier? How do we increase people's health span? So these would be the right kind of people to attract into the industry. But that's just one area, right? So how do you see what kind of talent, if you were hiring, I'm sure you are hiring, what kind of talent are you looking at, to come in to this space?
Absolutely. And this is a very interesting question, Shalini. Thanks for bringing that out. And to be honest, insurance has always been seen as a very traditional organizations and companies. And I'll just give you examples. And I'm sure you would have seen, if you would go to any of those MBA grads or graduations ceremonies and ask 500 people sitting there, the young boys and girls, and ask them to raise their hands who would wants to join an insurance company. And to be honest, you'll see negligible or even, very little hands coming up. But that is changing. That's changing at a very, very fast pace, to be honest. I mean, insurance is not really now the old aspect of just, I would say, the basics of just underwriting. And actually, those are very important skills, to be honest. But it is far more beyond that. I mean, the intersection of technology, healthcare, and especially the health insurance that we are talking is going places. And the amount of skill sets that we are looking at, problem solving, thinking out of the box, making sure we are knowing what the customers are needing, delivering those, understanding the risk mitigations, the overall alignment of how the product is delivered is changing at a much faster pace. So that is really, really changing. And to be honest, and Abhishek did say that in one of the points, to me, attitude mindset plays a very important part in that. And yes, technical aspect is very, very important. But what will thrive new entrants coming into the industry is the technical expertise with the empathy that will make sure that you are thriving in this industry at a different level altogether.
Yes.
If I may add, right?
Yeah.
When I joined insurance about 21 years ago,
Yeah.
I know it looks like he's still in school, but okay. I don't know why he keeps saying that, but okay.
all credit to my mom, right, for the genes.
Genes, yes.
So I realized over the last 21 years that insurance is one industry which actually allows you to thrive across those functions that you spoke about, but yet at the same time be focused on the purpose of making the life of that one customer, one individual better.
Absolutely.
Right? It could be by providing financial support. It could be by preventing health outcomes that might happen to them if nothing is done. And frankly, I will go on to say that it is actually providing peace of mind to all of us. Right? So it's similar to what the soldiers are doing on the war front by warding off, the enemy. Insurance is actually warding off, issues, concerns, difficulties by providing that infrastructure, right, and that underwriting to be able to have people just live with peace of mind.
Absolutely.
And that's again a narrative that we don't highlight enough.
Absolutely, we need to do that. And to be honest, I should say SCI is doing a great job out there in ensuring that we are basically, we need to make sure we are marketing, and we need to have passionate members coming who are improving lives, not just processes. It has to be improving those lives.
Yes.
So
the purpose is very important, right? So I think that's why, we talk about how we help build resilience, whether it's for individuals, families, businesses, the economy, the society. That's what we do, right? We build resilience all across. And also, I think to the point that you made about hard skills and soft skills, whether it's technical, risk, innovation, everything, I think that's what we're investing in. We're looking at how do we help, again, holistic insurance professionals rather than just one who knows how to underwrite, but underwrite with empathy, or is it, claims with empathy, like we can teach you how to do claims processing, but claims with empathy is a very different ballgame, right?
Yes.
So, and that is not as easy to teach sometimes, right? So that's the kind of things that we are reinventing and trying to do better at. Okay, so now
Absolutely.
let's look at global. We talked about impact, right? I think Abhishek brought up about impact, and Manu, you brought up about purpose as well. Global and societal impact, right? So before we head out, I think to the next one, let's look out. Health insurance doesn't operate in isolation. It's tied to climate risk, demographic shifts, even social justice, right? So now, if you had to pick one global force, okay, that will shape the future of health insurance, what would that be? Abhishek, want to start with you?
So, new age technologies, particularly in the healthcare space, as we call it, health tech, is expanding rapidly. And the most critical success factors will be a balancing act, not harmony, but a balancing act, improving the quality of the health advice, right? What should change in the current workflows to embrace new age tech without compromising on the human outcomes, right? So, giving it room to actually experiment, test, and learn, but being focused on those health outcomes, right? Even one life gone is important, right? So we need to be very, very careful about it. And the balance is the second balance here is improving access to new age tech to cover billions of people who do not have access to the basic healthcare. So control experiments, faster approval cycles. So basically, one size fit all approach will not work. And governments will have to play an important role to create an environment in which innovation and regulation can be balanced. It's very easy for the industry to be swayed in one way or the other. And we have to actually, as an ecosystem, manage that balance delicately.
And I think in Singapore, right, Manu, I know you sit in a committee as well. I think you chair the health committee for the Life Insurance Association. So in Singapore, there's a unique role called genetics underwriters, right?
Yes.
And I don't know, maybe it does exist, but I've never seen it anywhere else. And the genetics underwriters look at how you underwrite products using genetic data, and that's where the government comes in, and the government talks about what data you can and cannot use. And every genetic underwriter has to go through a program, a foundational program that tells you what you can and cannot use, because the idea is the government wants to promote people to go get tested, to get genetic tested, so that you find out early on, based on your genes, your heritage, what are you most exposed to, what are your risks, and so that then you can start to think about, okay, how do I manage this, right? So and knowing that information earlier is powerful. And I think that's something that's really quite, I thought, so innovative, so future.
Yes, it's absolutely
thinking.
really very forward looking and futuristic. And to be honest, LIA having that subcommittee of genetics, and Harpreet, who's the CEO of HSBC Life, is actually, owning, sponsoring that committee, and a lot of initiatives together with not only the industry, professionals, but bringing in the government, bringing in the best practitioners, academicians,
Correct.
coming together, thinking of what's coming best, what's futuristic things coming, and really great things are coming along. I'll share some of the interesting things that the team has done.
So after Abhishek has spoken, Manu, your thoughts on again, what is that?
One thing.
One thing.
I think if it's one thing, I would say that'll be societal change. And I think that's something which is, to me, especially as we continue to hire new technologies, new systems and processes from a, societal change, and you can compare it with climate change, and we can, aging population, social inequalities. It is more and more important that we are bringing that widespread change. And what Abhishek was talking about is just not one part of the society, but is really spreading it across in the wider population. And it could be multifaceted. It could be whether it's about aging population, it's about not having enough childbirth to make sure that the futuristic aging population can be taken care of, whether it is about longevity. So it's multifaceted. And I do feel genuinely, if it's one choice, it'll be the societal changes and how we are ensuring that we are supporting that as an industry.
Very good. Yeah, I was in Korea. I think recently we were doing this exchange program in Korea.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how insurers actually are one of the big sort of like investors or who run all these aging centers.
Yeah.
And because I thought they're quite invested, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I thought it's a good a choice. If I had to, I'm thinking about aging. Where will I go if I'm sick? Who's going to look after me? So I was thinking, why not an insurer? Because we put money 20 years down the road with you, 30 years down the road with insurers. Why can't I put money today to maybe one day when I'm not so well and I can't look after myself, there's a place that I can go to, managed by insurers or whatever. I don't know. It's an idea. It's my idea. But in Korea, they do that.
Yeah,
And I thought that was fascinating, right?
But I have to clarify.
Yeah.
Your car is speeding at 200 miles per
Is
hour.
it?
You don't need to worry about it right now.
Thanks. Thanks for the word. Okay, thanks. Okay, so it's delayed.
I think the real credit lies to the work culture that you have developed at CI, because having interacted and having been part of some of the events that you have invited me to, I think the team is fantastic. So I
Okay.
think they are keeping you in good humor.
Okay, good. Very good. Okay. There, I have Rini and Shuri here. Okay, very good. Great people. Next, we're going to move into a rapid fire round. Okay, straight. Whatever that comes to you, top of mind, that's what we're going to talk about. We call
Okay.
this the risk blitz round. So,
Okay.
favorite emerging tech that you think will change health insurance? Abhishek.
Preventative new age tech.
Preventative health intelligence.
Okay, give me an example of it? Health intelligence, like.
But that's not rapid fire, is it?
Okay. Okay, fine.
I was
Okay.
about to answer.
One industry buzzword you wish would disappear.
One product approval a year.
Is it really true? People think that's true.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Manu?
Customer centric, I think. I think it's too overused. That should be part of.
It should already
way.
be
It
part
should
of
already
us.
be part of that.
You don't
right?
have to tell
You don't
people.
have to tell saying that. Right?
Okay. I get it. Okay. Next one. Okay, if health insurance were a movie genre, okay, what would it be? Abhishek?
I would say moving from a soap opera to a thriller.
Thriller. How is it a thriller? Okay, never mind.
I think
Manu?
it should be, for me, it'll be sci-fi meeting drama.
Okay,
It's futuristic versus
I agree.
now.
I
yeah?
agree. Okay, a little bit not transformer. What is it? What's that? The one that AI was in. Oh my god! Now I cannot even remember. What? Okay, never mind. Arnold Schwarzenegger. What is that?
Terminator.
Terminator.
Oh, Terminator.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very Terminator-like, especially with AI and all that. Okay. Biggest risk you've ever taken in your career that paid off, Manu?
I think never be comfortable. To be honest,
No?
it's a continuous journey.
Okay.
Whenever you are comfortable, make sure you're going for the next big
So,
uncomfortable.
all right, Abhishek.
I think joining the industry from the glamour of consumer goods, where I started my career, was itself a big risk,
Okay.
and it's paid off very well.
Okay, very good. So that's a nice story there. Risk and Abhishek is serving his best life and best purpose. Exactly what we are doing here today, right? So we've covered everything that we wanted to say. Still under time. Very good. Interesting conversations. I know. Okay, maybe since we have a little bit of time. Manu, maybe you want to anything to add, anything to say on the topic. Final thoughts.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, first of all, I would like to say SCI is doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
And I know this podcast series, which, you have started, and just to make sure that we are bringing this to a much wider audience and ensuring not only within the community and the industry, but this goes out to a much wider community and helping to shape the forward thinking, thought provoking ideas, letting people think of what we are doing. I think it's a genuine and a great effort, and I'm really glad and honored to be part of it. So no, thank
good.
you, Shalini. It's
Thank
been an
you.
honor, to be honest,
Good.
with you and Abhishek here.
Yes. Thank you for coming on. I mean,
Yeah.
as you can see, it takes an army to do this. The team does all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I just sit in front of the camera. Yes, Abhishek. Yes.
I think during the last 45 minutes or so, we have discovered that we have empowered people from moving from a bike to a Formula One.
Oh, yes.
Right? We have also traversed the industry to focus on caring. We also believe that the ecosystem can actually coexist, and the flywheel can be created to, have greater health outcomes. I would add to what Manu was telling about, is that SCI is doing a great job in terms of awareness, which actually gets unnoticed.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the lack of knowing that people don't do things.
Correct.
Right? So sometimes just bringing it to them makes it much easier for them to take notice of it and say, oh, I didn't know that this existed.
That's true.
Right. So I think this podcast series, as well as tough and honest, frank conversations, is what we require. So thank you, Shalini, for leading from the front.
Thank you. And that's precisely it, right? Because we are always known as this. We run exams, we train people, upskill, everything. But where we saw really was we could make an impact was about improving perceptions and awareness.
Right.
Because if people don't know us, they don't understand the industry, they don't join the industry, and they don't buy products or they don't get protected because they don't understand it. Sometimes the products are so complex, or they don't buy the right products, they don't cover themselves well. So that getting word out, so the other thing is also over communicating, right? Trying everything under the sun, hoping that if I can get one person to listen, is one person smarter today. Doing the right thing and better protected, more resilient for the future. And I think that's a good thing. And the two of you today, in your time, taking the time to do this has definitely helped. I know you made me more educated about health insurance and everything, right? So we covered so much ground today. We talked about predictive health. We talked about skills transformation. We talked about global equity. We talked about holistic well-being. So many things are clear, but I think what's really important is that the future of health is very much like sci-fi, moving on to there's drama behind it. There's a little bit of a thriller coming in as well, with new players, new innovation. What's AI going to do? Do you think AI could replace all our genetics underwriters or health underwriters? Do you think that would ever happen? No, right?
No.
No, right?
it's-
That human judgment is still very important, right?
yeah.
Okay, very good. So, but what we're very clear, it's not about the lifespan, but really about the health span,
span,
right?
yeah.
How do we get people to be more healthier? And how do we as insurers really partner people through that journey, right? Because we don't want to see you sick. We want you to live your best life, right? And that's what we are invested in. So again, Abhishek, Manu, thank you for bringing in your insights, your energy, humor, and all the analogies and everything all together, right? Thank you for bringing that on to the Risk
Pleasure.
Factor.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you here. And to our listeners, I just want to say I hope this conversation today sparks some ideas. I hope you remember that innovation begins with curiosity. And, we hope, that based on the conversations that we had today, it inspires you to, go check out, whether whether to look at, health insurance. Is this a space you want to come into? Is this, look at your own coverages, whether you have the right coverages. So, but whatever it is, stay curious, keep learning, and be part of, designing that future. And I hope if you found this podcast useful, do follow us and subscribe to the Risk Factor and get your alerts on the monthly episode drops. So again, do share this with your colleagues and friends and network who care about building a healthier world. And we hope that, based on the word that you put out, other people can discover this episode and we can improve awareness across, the network. And so this is the Risk Factor. I'm Shalini. And until next time, so keep leading with heart, building with truth, and let's keep staying resilient and build a better future for all. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Abhishek and Manu.
Thank you.